Peace. This is Wadsworth Media back at y'all for another round, and it's over. The Brian Daboll experience with the New York Giants has come to an end as the New York Giants gave Daboll his walking papers after Sunday's monstrosity, being up by 2 possessions with 4 minutes left and ending up losing yet another game, the 4th game this season that they lose when they're leading in the 4th quarter. In a couple of these games, just like Sunday's game, they were up multiple possessions. They was up to 10 on Sunday. So it's just, you cannot have 4 fourth quarter leads in this league, not maintain these leads, and expect to have a job. Brian Daboll did this to himself. Like, let's say the first time around, right? Let's say the Saints game, because we actually blew one before the Saints game. But let's say the Saints game was the second one. The Saints game, we was up by a few possessions. If you say oh, I had a slip, I lapsed. We should have ran the ball more. But we had a lapse. We decided to throw. We got caught up in the moment. Blah, 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 blah. Granted. But if you don't run the ball the next time you run into that situation to milk the clock, to keep the clock going, if you do not run that ball the next time, now we have problems. And that's what happened the third time that they gave up another lead. Which I believe was that disaster against Denver. So now you do it a third time. Now you're really on the hot seat, because I think that was like a NFL record or something like that. A team coming back from 19 down in the 4th and winning. So now you got history on your head. And you go and do it a 4th time. Why? Why are you putting Russell Wilson back in the game? Why are you putting Russell Wilson back in the game? You already saw all you had to see from Russell Wilson. You felt so uncomfortable with him that you ran and got the rookie. You put the rookie Jackson Dart. You got so flustered with him, you put in a rookie. And not only did you put in the rookie, but when you put in the rookie and the rookie got hurt, you ran inside the blue tent. Like, yo, Duke, you good? You good? You coming back out? Because you saw what Russell was doing, and you was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. So why in the world would you put Russell Wilson back in when you got Jameis Winston sitting there, and you continue to skip over Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston, one thing's for sure, whether it's the offense, the defense, whether it's the broadcasters, somebody's gonna catch a football when Jameis Winston's out there. And you refuse to do it. You got yourself fired, Brian Daboll. They gave you so many chances. Now listen, you had a spark when you started, but now it's just garbage. Like, why? I gotta thank you for that playoff run that we had. And I also gotta thank you for getting Jackson Dart, because yes, you did a lot of that legwork. You were the one banging on the table for Joe Shane to do a trade to move up so you could get Jackson Dart. Credit to you. It hasn't been all bad, but there's been a lot more damaging, a lot more bad that has outweighed the good, especially in recent history. And that's it. The Giants brass got tired of it. They said it's over, it's done, it's time to move on. And now it's an interim. We got Kafka in there as the interim head coach. They're going to give him a chance, and they're gonna see what he can produce as the head coach. I think they're going to give him a real honest chance, and they're going to really you know, it's not like I don't think they're like actively looking, from what I've heard so far from some of like the beat writers and such. They're not actively pursuing. They're giving Kafka that real opportunity. But in the offseason, decisions have to be made. I think they have to let go of the defensive coordinator. But for me, personally, the next move that I think they should do, and even though he's under contract and, you know, he's coaching elsewhere, I think the man that they need to bring back as the head coach is Wink Martindale. They have to bring back Wink Martindale. And I would give Wink Martindale the head coaching job. Look at the pieces that we have on defense. When Wink was here, we didn't have these pieces. Now we got, on top of, we had Dexter Lawrence, but now on top of Dexter Lawrence, we got Spider Burns, who's leading the NFL in sacks. He's having a phenomenal season. You got Dexter Lawrence, Spider Burns, you got Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. They have the type of front that Wink Martindale will salivate over. And Wink Martindale, if you remember, he left on his own terms. He left, he quit the team because he said, this guy don't know what the hell he's doing. This guy, referring to Daboll. He told the Giants brass, listen, this guy does not know what he's doing. And at that time, we were all looking at it like, why would he say that? Because Daboll had that successful run. They went to the playoffs together. And for him to say that, he was so ahead of his time. Wink was, that's how much he know football. He was so ahead of his time. He told the Giants front office, I'm out of here. This guy don't know what he's doing. And I'm not going down and messing up my name when the ship sinks. And good for him, man. He went out. He had vision, man. This is a coach with vision. He saw it. He was like, this guy's garbage. He's not going to do what y'all think he's going to do, and I'm out. But under Wink Martindale, look at the camaraderie. Look at how that defense was performing under Wink Martindale. Under Wink Martindale, they were performing. They were a stout defense. Now, with these pieces that he has, and if you go and draft some people for the secondary, because that's the weak part of this defense, you go get some secondary help, I think Wink Martindale, and you got to think back, every time the Giants made a big run and the Giants have won their championships, it was always predicated off the defense. Going back to the Lawrence Taylor days, all the way up to the Human Yara, the JPPs, the, Justin Tucks, and all of them. That NASCAR package, they could run that. Like, I think that's the number one guy they need to go back after. The front office knows him already. He's familiar with the team. The team loved him. They didn't want to see him go. So do right by him. Bring Wink back. And I think if you bring Wink and then you get Wink a very good offensive coordinator, this team is back to championship contention. So let me know what y'all think. Who y'all think y'all want to see as Giants head coach. But it's over. The Brian Daboll experience has come to an end. I'm Wash for Wise Words Media. Peace.